there's a bumper. There's a car without a bumper. So what we got here, got the intercooler. And this guy is gonna mount up basically to, that was my old fan, but essentially it's gonna sit up here just like that. And there's a front mount. So let's get that mounted up. Now one thing is I want this to sit as far back against, as close as I can to this, but as you can see it's got this big fat lip here. So what I'm gonna do is gently, with the utmost care, massage that lip into more of a flat piece. And by massage I mean I'm gonna hit it with a hammer. And not just any hammer, an air hammer. There we go. We've clearanced that significantly. It's actually pretty smooth. I'm gonna hit it with a wire brush, hit it with some spray paint so it doesn't rust, and voila. So now we're all clearanced. You can see there's plenty of room here even when that's bolted down to make this intercooler pipe come that way. And same on this side. Once the bottoms are bolted down, there'll be plenty of room. I kind of massaged the edge of that over, rounded that corner as well. So let's see how the bumper fits. Now, as expected, the bumper will need to be trimmed, specifically this whole mouth section. I still want to leave at least enough of the bumper so that it looks factory. So I'm just going to try to cut the inside up flush with, just kind of flush with that. We're going to leave the crosshair in there so that it still looks somewhat like the normal Impreza bumper. Cutting bumpers is a little bit nerve-wracking the first time you do it. After you've done 100 of them, you kind of get your own method. I like to use what I call the tape method. What I do is I run tape around everywhere that I plan to cut, and then it's pretty easy from there to draw a straight line, because even though the bumper curves, you want your line to be straight because your intercooler is flat and you want this to be snugged up against the intercooler as much as possible. Doing it this way also allows me to make a first cut high, so I can make a rough cut just using a big sawzall and get the majority of this bulk out of there so that I can then set the bumper up on the car and see how far down I actually need to go. And you do it right, you can end up with a bumper that fits super flush to your intercooler and looks like it was supposed to be that way. Cut number one, it's not perfect, but it's the rough cut. So then we're gonna go set it up against the car and see how it fits. So surprisingly, the bottom is probably spot on. I just basically needed to trim on the tops. The corners in here are touching. So if I trim that one to match the bottom one, I think we're probably pretty darn close. It's a good thing my rough cut is mostly straight. I'll have to straighten it out. I got a little bit deep in the middle. I'll be able to straighten that out. But it's not bad. Not bad for the first cut. It's a little wonky. All right, the big saw didn't fit, so I went ahead and used the air saw to do the 2 nostrils. This is just the rough cut, so we're gonna go see if this fits on the car. And if it fits, then we'll try to smooth up the edges a little bit. And if it doesn't, we'll trim it some more. Bumper cut for a front mount. I gotta mount it still, obviously. It's just hanging loose, but looks pretty good. So it's intercooler pipe building day, at least building prep day. So I started here. I've got intercoolers loosely mounted. I've got my coupler on the car, and I've got my Sharpie. And so basically, this pipe I want a little bit further in. So I'm going to, that's where it's going to sit. I'm going to measure how much further in I want it and then cut it. So it looks like we want to come in, we'll just do 2 inches. So we'll cut 2 inches off the end of this guy and then we'll set it back in. So we come out of the intercooler and now we need to go up through the fender. I don't really want to go down and over just because it's not a very straight run. We're trying to make these pipes as short as possible. So I'm going to get a 3-inch hole saw and bust a 3-inch hole right here. And that'll get us up to the top. And then we'll probably have to cut out, because up on the top it's got this stupid old battery tray, which is not really ideal. But it's not just spot welded in, it's kind of grossly welded and seam sealed in there, so I'm probably just gonna hit it from the bottom straight through, just ream it out. So we have our 3-inch hole cutter and a fabricator's kit here. Basically just, you have to make sure, you always have to make sure that you put the washer on it, because if you don't, you'll never get it off. These are double threaded. You can see it's a 2-point thread. Sorry. These are double threaded. See, it's a 2-point thread, meaning there's 2 origins of the thread, so it's kind of tricky to get in there. All right. So now we're in, and we're gonna go cut a hole. Now, anybody watching from home who is used to big, slow hole cutters, I'm gonna tell you right now, this is not one of those. We're going to punch our centering punch here, and let's see if we can move this wiring harness a little bit because it's in the way. And we're going to throw some chips here. Let's see if we can get this lined up a little bit better. Alright, let's see, maybe we can get a better angle here. Safety squints engaged. All right, here we go. This starts by drilling a pilot. And we've already popped off. Well, we'll drill the pilot first and then we'll reseat that. All right, we have a pilot. Now let's reseat our cutter. All right. Now here we go. You ready for this? This is going to be gnarly. We're going to take this intercooler pipe off for a minute. It's already full of metal. Not a good idea to leave your intercooler pipes full of metal. Apparently my battery is low. Let's see if we can get this cut done with this battery. Let's go to torquey mode. Ow. You seem to have possibly let the smoke out of my old snap-on drill here. That's not a good thing. Yeah, she smoked. That sucks. Snap-on drill tool review. It won't do a 3-inch hole saw, apparently, without smoking. So, time to get out a different drill. Luckily, I have this old DeWalt corded for just such an occasion. This is a workhorse right here. Should have probably just been using this to begin with. Hole drilling part 2. Didn't quite get that chucked in there. We're through. That was sketchy. That was a big hole to cut all at once. I know it didn't pop out, but that's because, like I said, we've got all kinds of stuff in the way. So we've got this bracket where the horn is, and that's causing a problem. And then we've got all of this stuff here that needs to come out. So we're gonna get this next. I'm thinking the easiest way to do this one might be to just kind of come over to here and pop another hole in it, just right next to it. And that'll let me come out at the angle I want as well. Beautiful. Pop that whole thing through. Now we just gotta make them meet in the middle. It's close. This battery tray is not playing nice here. So close. Beautiful. We have a hole. So I need to cut it just a little bit elongated, which we'll use the same saw for. Except my saw has decided to say no. That's better. Now our angle is good on the inside here. Beautiful. Actually going to come up quite a bit like that. Basically come through, little extension piece there. Perfect. All right, so now using a few cuts, I've got 190 here, 145 here, and then this is actually a 90. So this is a long end 90. So I've only used 3 bends to make this pipe, and that's kind of critical. You want to make sure that you're optimizing your bends. I had to use a 45 off the turbo because there's a water line down there and I don't feel like relocating that. But there's the pipe. Now it's a hair short, which is fine because I need to have a coupler joint somewhere in it. I'll probably do it here because this pipe as it is, you would not be able to take on and off the car, I don't believe. I'm gonna try it first, see if I can get it off in one piece because I'd rather have as few bends as possible. But then again, the motor is going to turn side to side a little bit under power, and having another flex joint like on this, probably this joint here, is going to be good. And you do a flex joint by using a hump hose coupler, and they look kind of cool. Plus I get to write hump. So I'm going to put a hump coupler there, I'm pretty sure. So then there's 1, 2, 3 joints to be welded, 4 joints, just 4 joints total to be welded. That's not too bad. I'm not an aluminum welder, so I'm going to give these to a coworker and buy them some tacos. So there's the hot pipe, very hot pipe is complete. Now we come over here to the cold pipe. And this one gets a little bit more complicated because on this pipe we also have to contend with the intake. So the intake, my thought is to build, I think I want to build a fiberglass box basically in this area here. I might move this boost controller over to here so that it's not in the area of this intake. In fact, I'm going to do that. Put the boost controller closer to the boost source, the turbo and everything. Surprisingly, even though this is an Impreza, a classic Impreza, it has a lot of room in the engine bay because of what I've done. So most of the time these engine bays get super crowded, but this one has plenty of room at the moment. So yeah, if I'm thinking if I built kind of a fiberglass box here, that my intake could sit really nicely. This big nice filter could sit inside there and essentially make a big 180-degree swing into the turbo. Normally people put them like this, but trying to put this big filter into this little car just doesn't work so well. So I'm thinking 180 degrees. It'll be 3-inch, so it should be fine. So this was actually 180 degree U-bend, and it had a long leg, and so what I did is I actually just cut it right in the middle of the bend and then flipped it. So this used to be there and that. So anyway, and there's my intake. Like I said, it's going to come around backwards here, and then I'm going to build a fiberglass little box there, I think, and that should make it look pretty good. Even if I don't build the fiberglass box, it'll be all right. Next thing is the cold pipe. So this one is going to be a little bit trickier. I was thinking about trying to run it down this way, but then we have no room for fans, and it would be nice to be able to have fans in there. So I don't know if I go this way if I'm going to run into hood clearance problems. I was thinking I could snake it underneath the intake. That would be kind of trick like that. So I'm going to go grab just a big straight 2.5 inch and see if it fits with the hood. So after a little more visualization, I think it's going to do something like this. I just test shut the hood, and I just need to suck this down just a hair. It's just a little bit too tall here. So I'm going to trim the coupler here, and then this should fit at the correct angle, and everybody should line up pretty well. I just need a really long, straight 2.5, which I don't have. So I'm going to have to order that. And other than that, the intercooler pipe should be pretty straightforward. A couple of 2.5-inch straights and we'll be done. So I messed with it a little bit more and I ended up putting a 45-degree coupler there, which much better positions. I need to actually slot it a little bit farther over, but it much better positions this pipe, and then just need about another 9 or 10 inches there, and we'll be in business. Get this all welded up. Because this one already has its coupler, I don't need to add a flex to it. And like I said, we'll just use a hump hose there. And that is the intercooler and intake system. So essentially all the plumbing. Probably put a blow-off valve on here somewhere. Could do it right here, or really anywhere on this charge pipe is ideal location for one. I'll see what I can find and get that put in. It's looking pretty, it's looking like a car that might actually do something finally. So that's all for this video. Thanks for watching, guys. The next video will be more wiring and finishing up more of the little things. And yeah, I'm gonna actually, I think, extend now because I don't really have much room there. Yeah, that's about where that's gonna end up. I might rotate that a little bit this way and then clock it up so that it brings the filter down just a hair. Maybe run a smaller filter than that one. They make a 9 or a 5-inch or a 7-inch instead of a 9. I think this is a 9-inch. They make a 7-inch, which will give me a little bit more room. So I'm thinking it's looking pretty good. Thanks for watching.